welcome inside another edition of Celtics Roundtable here on CLNS Media. CLNS Media, the leading online provider of audio-video coverage of your Boston Celtics. Evan Valenti, Matt Ignall here coming at you. Like, Jimmy Butler basically showed up to practice late, and I'm still kind of piecing this together. So if I'm a little off on this, I apologize. It's just details are still rolling out. We're still trying to figure this out. We just wanted to pod about it really immediately. But you have all these things coming out. Jimmy Butler apparently showed up an hour late to practice, decided to run with the third-team squad, and challenge the first team, and won. So, Matt, I ask you in this particular sense, is there any player on the Boston Celtics that could run with the third unit and beat the first unit that composes of probably one of the starters out of it, of 4 out of the 5 being, Tatum, Brown, Horford, Kyrie, and Hayward? Can anybody do that?
I can see Kyrie doing it just because he's like an offense unto himself. But I mean, what Jimmy Butler pulled today, it's the stuff of legend.
That is legendary shit, no doubt.
Yeah,
I think the question before so what's the team look like if it's Kyrie, right? So we have Kyrie, Wanamaker, Rob Williams, Shemi.
They're not beating that first unit. I take it back. There's
and
no
Yabu.
one who can do it.
So it's Kyrie, Wanamaker, Yabu, Shemi, and Rob Williams. I actually think they could do that. I actually think that's possible. So you talked about Kyrie being like the offensive focal point, and I think everybody else plays good defense. You know what I mean? Like they have Rob Williams, who is maybe going to crack through the rotation at some point this year. He's been really, 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 really good defensively. The pick and roll with him and Kyrie would be a lot of fun. Kyrie could just throw lobs. I think they could make it happen. I think that's the only way I think they could do it. If it were anybody, I think it would be Kyrie. I think you're right on that.
Yeah, I'm taking the first unit. Unless Kyrie is absolutely on fire. Based on what we've seen in the preseason. Well, actually, the starting unit was kind of cold too, but I'm not trusting Shemi Ojeleye and Brad Wanamaker from three-point land.
Wanamaker's going to cover Jalen, right? So Wanamaker's going to cover Jalen. Shemi's going to be on Tatum. Those guys, Shemi's not going to move too much in terms of, Tatum trying to back him down. Hayward and Yabusele would be really rough. But I think in pick and roll, I think Rob Williams holds up well with Horford, but he would have to...
Yeah, just throw it up there. No one else can get it and dunk it like he can. Basically in the entire league. But getting back to Butler, it seems like kind of staged, but he still had to go out because Rachel Nichols is I happen to be in Minnesota, and they did an interview on SportsCenter.
No. Jimmy Butler called her and said, I need to talk, and they went to Minnesota, and this happened. This was all planned, by the way. And anyway, that
he still had to win. He still had to punk the starters. He still had to guard Karl-Anthony Towns competently. But to do it, to be cussing out, he said that Karl started talking shit first. But apparently Jimmy followed suit.
I don't buy that at all.
Me neither. But cussing both of them out, cussing out Glenn Taylor, Tom Thibodeau, saying that the team is too soft and can't win without him. I don't know.
That's true.
I don't know if it's gonna help him get traded, if it's gonna convince the Wolves that he needs to be kept. Maybe just Jimmy Butler. He just comes out looking like a total badass.
He does look like a total badass, which makes me think about if he's this. We all knew he was a tough guy, but this is next level assassination of your team. It really is. It's just. Has anybody besides maybe Kobe Bryant calling out his teammates ever done something like this before? I don't think that anything. This is literally the first time this has happened in maybe the past 20 years of NBA history here. My history doesn't go all the way back to 80s and stuff where maybe that would have happened, but this is legendary type shit. Can you imagine Karl-Anthony Towns trying to back down Jimmy Butler and can't do it? How does that make Karl-Anthony Towns feel?
Yeah, we got to see this practice. Someone link it.
I would pay money, not a lot of money. But I would pay money to watch the practice and see how everything went down. Unedited though. I don't need any bleeps. I know Jimmy's gonna drop a lot of F-bombs. It's gonna be great, but when it comes down to it, I think Jimmy Butler somehow became more of a legend here, Matt.
Yeah, absolutely. Showing up late is awesome. Leaving early, I think he did that. He just kind of left, and everybody was speechless. It was just kind of a mic drop moment. Yeah, another addition to the legend of Jimmy Butler. The wristman's going off on Twitter. Follow at Hebert of Riffs. It's hilarious.
Absolutely. Before we keep going on this, I want to remind everybody today's show is brought to you by Boston Barber and Tattoo Company. If our neighborhood has a heartbeat, a place that represents the cultural epicenter of the area at its core. And in Boston's historic North End, that place is Boston Barber and Tattoo Company. Boston Barber and Tattoo Company has become the home to A-list Boston celebrities like Gordon Hayward, Brad Marchand, Aaron Baines. Boston Barber and Tattoo is more than just Boston's most well-known corner barbershop. It's also a tourist attraction for the hundreds of thousands of people that visit the North End throughout the year. Ask for my boy Roy. He cut Hayward's hair. He also cut my hair. He's actually spectacular. Also, there's a cappuccino bar in back, too, so you can get a cup of Joe while you're there. So head to Boston Barber Tattoo Company, North End Landmark, located at 113 Salem Street in the North End. Matthew Ignall, Evan Valenti. I think what's interesting about this, I just kind of thought of this, kind of just popped in my head. Does this make you appreciate how Kyrie handled his business in Cleveland and how Boston was able to kind of keep this deal under wraps? And, obviously get Kyrie and obviously upgrade their team a little bit. But does this make you maybe appreciate how Kyrie handled his business a little bit more?
I mean,
this is
do we know if Kyrie, threatened to sit out the season? Was that ever, I
thought Joe Vardon reported that. Now, Joe's is probably the best beat reporter on the Cleveland Cavs beat. Him and Dave McMenamin both are excellent. I thought Vardon reported that Kyrie was going to threaten to sit out because of the knee injury. He was going to get all that stuff taken out.
Yeah, I don't know if it was ever confirmed. Kyrie didn't deny it. He said something like it was like a HIPAA violation. So I'm guessing it was true. So I mean that was probably a pretty ugly end over there. This is just way more entertaining though, and I'm extremely here for it.
Would you now this has happened? Are you more likely or less likely to trade for Jimmy Butler?
If I'm the Celtics or another team?
Anybody. If you're the Celtics, I mean obviously Boston and Jimmy don't really line up. I think we can all admit that. There's just no chance Jimmy Butler ends up in the Celtics, however cool this is. But if you were a GM, would this make you more likely or less likely to trade?
I mean, if I'm Pat Riley, I'm thinking it's more. It's given that he's been tied to the Heat. Yeah, I think the Heat is going to be even more all in. The Rockets are another interesting team that apparently is in hot pursuit of Jimmy Butler. I hope
that's the team I think he ends up on. I think he ends up in Houston.
I hope they don't get him because then I think Houston is really right there with Golden State. I almost want to say if they get Jimmy Butler, Golden State obviously has more paper on talent.
Paper on talent.
Yeah, they have more paper on talent, but
I like that.
I don't know how hungry they're going to be going for this third straight title. It's exhausting. What they've been to the finals the last 4 years. Do I have that right?
Yeah, they've been.
Yeah, so shooting for 5. Yeah, so I mean that to me, if both teams are relatively healthy, is an even split.